Hey guys, time for this week's lecture. Hope you guys are staying safe, staying healthy. Um, Basically, what I have for you this week is we're going to build a little bit off of what we did last Thursday, where I had you guys actually go through and do the Punnett squares. If you did them or not, it's not a huge deal. I would like you to at least try them though. Um, Basically, it's just practice for what we're going to start doing this week. You've done Punnett squares before, at least you were supposed to have done them back in 8th grade. They're pretty simple. I gave you 5 Punnett squares because those are really the only 5 options you're really going to run across with those. So, kind of building off of what we did this week, or last week and everything, I've gone through and I went ahead and did them. Let me see if I can adjust this a little bit so you guys can see the whole thing. So, you'll see on here I've done the crosses. So, typically what you'll end up with is you start on the outside with 2 letters, each of these representing one of the 2 genes that's present in the chromosome, or in the gamete. So imagine that up here is the male gamete and down here is the female gamete. When they combine together, what possible combinations could they result with? Well, up here we have big A, and over here we have big A. So if we cross those, then all of these ones right here are going to have big A. This is what's known as homozygous dominant. Homozygous meaning the same, so the 2 letters are the same, and dominant because it's the capital letter. The capital letter typically means it's dominant. It's the same. It's going to overshadow the lowercase letter. That's what the lecture last week was talking about. So in this case, we went through and we did the cross. So big A, or we had a big A here and we had a big A here. We crossed them and we end up with 2 big A's there. So when I go through and do this Punnett square, what I notice is that of this, I'm going to look at my percentage. Now this is where I hear these letters together are what are known as a genotype. Genotype, basically the genes, the type of genes. Gene type, genotype. So in this case, if we go through this box right here, I have 3 possible combinations I could end up with, and I've written those down here. Big A, big A, little a, and little a. Those are all 3 possible combinations I could end up with if I do a standard Punnett square like these. These are called monohybrid Punnett squares. So if I do these, I notice that 100% of the genotypes inside of these boxes here are big A. I have 0% are big A, and 0% are little a. So 100% of my Punnett square is big A. That means the only possible option I can end up with here is big A. Now I move over here to the next one here, and this is what is known as crossing a heterozygous with a heterozygous. Heterozygous meaning different. So I cross a big A, which is a heterozygous, with another big A, which is a heterozygous. This is where I'm going to notice things are going to get a little different. Because if I cross these and I do my matching up here, I have a big A, and I pair those up, and I end up with big A here. But then I do it over here, I have a big A pairing up with a little a, so then I have big A here. Same thing here, I have a big A coming down from here, and a little a from here, which means I have a big A. And then if I go on this side, I have little a. Now my percentages change. Because if I go through here, I notice that of my 4, 1/4 or 25% of them are big A, instead of 100% over here. And then big A, I have 50% of them are big A, because this one and this one. Now, I know most of you guys had written it as, you were writing it as little a, big A, which is fine, but for our purposes and for most of the time, what you're going to see is that you're usually going to write them as big A, little a. You're always going to write the big A first because it's dominant. Dominant means it overshadows that. We'll get more into what that means on Thursday's lecture. For today, I just want you to understand these genotypes. Let me turn off the TV again. There we go. So you'll see here, again, 25%, 50%, 25%. I'm doing this as percentages. You could also do them as fractions. So 1/4, 1/2, 1/4. If I do this one over here, this is crossing a heterozygous with a homozygous recessive, because it's the recessive trait, the lowercase letter. So if I do this cross, then I find out that 50% of them are big A, 50% of them are little a, and I have none of them are big A. And then down here, just for purposes of showing the differences, I went ahead and did the other 2 possible options. So here I did a heterozygous crossed with a homozygous dominant, and here I did a homozygous recessive crossed with a homozygous recessive. In the homozygous recessive crossed with homozygous recessive, you'll notice it's pretty much the opposite of what this one was up here. This one up here was 100% of them were big A. This one down here, 100% of them are little a. And this one here is kind of similar to this one. So these are basically showing you the different possible combinations. Now these are the percentages of the phenotypes that you have for the activities, or for these particular Punnett squares. For our purposes, since we're just doing standard, what are known as monohybrid crosses, we're just going to have the 4 squares right now. And the 4 squares, we're going to have it where one trait is dominant to the other trait. So for today's assignment, it's pretty simple. You're going to go through and do the Punnett squares just like you did the other day. Remember, you're supposed to have 2 letters in each box, either big A, big A, little a, or little a, little a. So each of those little boxes inside that Punnett square should have 2 letters in them. I'm going to give you the Punnett squares. You're going to go through and you're going to fill them out like you did the other day on the other day's assignment. But this time you're going to be expected to give me what the genotypic ratio is. Sorry, not phenotypic. We'll get to phenotype later. But you're going to give me what is the genotypic ratio. That means what is the percentage of the letters. So what percentage in that box are big A, little a? What percentage in that box are big A, big A? And don't expect to copy off your neighbors this time, guys, because I'm probably going to end up giving multiple people different choices for theirs or different options for theirs. So keep that in mind. So don't just go through and copy off your neighbor, because chances are you're probably not going to have the same one as someone else. And I'm bringing that up because I can tell that several of you are just copying off of other people. You need to be doing this work yourself, guys. Okay? You're not going to learn anything if you just copy off of someone else. All right, so that's going to be your assignment, pretty much, is to go through and do those Punnett squares and give me the percentages. Use this video as help. Use my notes as help. I'll get more into on Thursday what those particular letters represent. For now, I just want you to kind of get used to doing the genotypes and understanding how they work. All right, if you have any questions, as always, email me. Make sure you're keeping up on your work. If you have any stuff that's past due, I can still take some of the things. I'll still take some of the stuff from the meiosis chapter. So feel free to get those done. Right now, we don't know how grades are going to be handled, kind of up in the air. I think they're going to send out a letter about how that's going to be handled. If you guys didn't like your 3rd quarter grade, I would recommend you make sure you're getting a good grade on your 4th quarter, because right now it's going to be 50-50. You're not going to have any finals to take. So that's one good piece of news that we found out. You won't have any finals that you're going to have to take. But your grade's pretty much going to be probably 50% from quarter 3 and 50% from quarter 4. If you didn't like your 3rd quarter grade, if you do well on your 4th quarter grade, that can balance it out. For example, having a 30% in 3rd quarter and then having a 70% in 4th quarter, you add those up, that's 100%. Divide that by 2, because there's 2 quarters, then that means you have a 50%. That's not passing. So if you have a 30% and then you get, say, a 90%, that's 120. Divide that by 2, guess what? 60%, you're passing. So you went from having a 30% to having a passing grade. So that's pretty much where you guys may want to keep an eye on that, is make sure you're keeping up with the assignments. Again, as always, questions, email me. Please make sure if you're running into any trouble, like for example, if you're having any trouble accessing the assignments or getting anything done, please let me know. Most of the assignments are going to be individual work. I'll put it up, and each person's going to have their own assignment that they can access, so you don't have to worry about making copies of it or anything. It'll usually be like you'll have your own copy of that assignment. But anyway, that's about all I got for you guys for this week, or for today. I will see you guys again on Thursday. I'll give you more lecture time, and I'll give you a little bit more practice. All right, talk to you later.